Title: Creeping Gods Blood Legacy Sequel. Chapter: Shadow Heirs. Genre: Dark Superhero Horror Action Fantasy. Runtime: 2H05 ml. Previous recap. Quick flashback montage. Jeepers Creeper fused with God armor laid waste to cities. Sub-Zero fused with smoke teamed up with Wolverine to stop him. The Creeper was shattered, but vanished. Post-credit tease. An evil energy draws new figures from the shadows. Current scene. Opening night sequence. Picks up moments after the battle. Location: the ruins of the frost-locked temple. Midnight. Sub-Zero and Wolverine stand amidst glowing fragments of Creeper's shattered armor. Snow falls, but something feels off. The cold air shifts into something far more sinister. From the swirling shadows behind a pillar, two hooded figures emerge. Evil Tim Drake, now a rogue assassin, eyes glowing red, wielding twin Dark Tech bow staff imbued with Chaos Tech. Damian Wayne, corrupted by a Lazarus blood fusion, dressed in League of Shadows armor with glowing glyphs. His katana now forged from a sliver of the Creeper's broken god armor. Sub-Zero narrows his eyes. "You're not here to help!" Wolverine snarls. Great, more masked kids with daddy issues. Scene 2. The confrontation begins. Tim and Damian don't speak at first. Their presence is pure menace. But then Damian steps forward. "You destroyed the Creeper's shell, but not the spirit inside. It chose us now." "We are the heirs of the broken god," Tim adds. Suddenly the shadows swirl, and a tendril of the Creeper's essence wraps around them. It fuses with their minds, enhancing them with precognitive combat awareness, shadow teleportation, and unholy strength. They attack in sync, pushing Sub-Zero and Wolverine to their limits. Scene 3, the Duel of Bloodlines. Tim versus Sub-Zero, a battle of speed, stealth, and tactical brilliance. Tim uses misdirection and tech illusions. Sub-Zero counters with smoke phasing and frost clones. Damian versus Wolverine, brutal close-quarter swordplay. Damian is faster, unpredictable, but Wolverine's rage and durability keep him alive. The fights level the ancient ruins. Reality begins to split. "We're not just fighting you." Tim grins. "We're rebuilding him." Scene 4, the split decision. Wolverine is nearly impaled. Sub-Zero freezes time briefly, extracting him from danger. They realize this battle can't be won with strength alone. The Creeper is possessing the minds of the former Robins. Sub-Zero prepares a soul-freezing technique passed down from the Elder Lin Kuei, risking his own life to expel the demonic force. Wolverine distracts the possessed duo while Sub-Zero unleashes a blinding cryo-soul pulse.
Scene 5. Aftermath and unrest. Damian collapses.
His eyes flicker. A trace of his old self returns. The rift closes. Final scene, Damian, weakened, looks at Sub-Zero and Wolverine. "You didn't save us, you delayed him." Camera pans up. The moon turns blood red. A new voice whispers from the wind. "The armor was never mine. It was his cocoon." Fade to black end credits. Post-credit scene. In a hidden sanctum, evil Tim Drake now sits on a throne made of bones and armor shards. His eyes fully black, Creeper's twisted wings begin to grow behind him. Title on screen, The God of Fear returns. Sequel teased, Creeping Gods the 3, Rebirth of Terror. Title: Creeping Gods. Third, Rebirth of Terror. Chapter: Shadow Echoes and Golden Wrath. Genre: Supernatural Hero Horror, Dark Crossover. Epic. Runtime 2:12 opening scene, Pursuit through the void. The world is unstable. Reality still quakes from the last battle. Sub-Zero and Wolverine track residual shadow energy through fractured dimensions and post-apocalyptic wastelands. They are on the hunt for evil Tim Drake, who escaped with the last fragment of the Creeper's god essence. The trail is cold until a whisper rings through the air, low and taunting. "Hey there, bub." The voice isn't Wolverine's. He turns sharply. Sub-Zero raises a hand. A phantom version of Wolverine flickers in the distance. Same voice, same stance, but eyes glowing red. Tim Drake has evolved. He now possesses mimic abilities, absorbing skills, voices, and powers from anyone he encounters. And he's using Wolverine's own tactics to bait and divide them. Scene 2, Damian's Ascension. Elsewhere, Damian Wayne, still recovering from being purged of the Creeper's direct influence, stands at the center of a ruined Lazarus sanctuary. Shadows circle him, until the ground cracks, revealing an ancient tomb. Golden energy erupts from beneath. A dark magic aura armor with celestial runes and Lazarus corruption fuse together. The armor wraps around Damien like a living serpent. I failed once, I won't fail again. Damien fuses with the Golden Wrath, giving him reality-sensing vision, necro-enhanced speed, golden katana of life-stealing flame, a blood link to Tim Drake. He begins tracking Tim, not just to stop him, but to prove he's stronger without the Creeper's influence. Scene 3, The False Hunt. In an illusion-shattered city, Tim Drake, now fully twisted, confronts Sub-Zero and Wolverine in a reality loop. He mimics Sub-Zero's frost clones, Wolverine's healing factor, and even Damien's acrobatics. "You're chasing shadows. I am what comes after the gods fall." Wolverine slices through a fake version of Tim, but it's just a mimic. Suddenly, Tim strikes from behind using a carbon copy claw attack. Sub-Zero's cryotech starts short-circuiting. The mimic abilities are learning in real time. Scene 4, Damien joins the war. A golden shockwave cuts through the battlefield. Damien arrives, glowing with divine fury. He instantly clashes with Tim in midair, golden aura clashing against corrupted mimic power. The sky turns violet with energy distortion. Damien's sword burns away Tim's illusions. "I am no longer your brother. I am your reckoning." Sub-Zero and Wolverine regroup, supporting Damien with elemental blasts and berserker strikes. The trio pushes Tim to his limits. But Tim smiles. "I'm not alone anymore." Behind him, black wings emerge. The Creeper's spirit, fully formed, rides his back like a parasite. Final battle, 3 versus 1, Possessed. The world begins breaking apart as the possessed Tim Drake becomes a living conduit of the broken god. He shifts forms, mimics attacks, and reshapes the ground itself. Every strike from him uses a different style. Scorpion, Nightcrawler, even Sabretooth. Damien taps into his armor's full wrath mode. Sub-Zero unlocks ancient cryo runes. Wolverine tears through shadows like a demon. In a final combined attack, they sever the Creeper's link to Tim, but instead of killing him, they seal him inside a void sphere of ice and gold light. Ending scene, quiet before the next storm. Damien drops his sword. Wolverine looks at the sealed sphere. "You think it's over?" "No," Sub-Zero replies. "That was just the echo." Post-credit scene. In a deep interdimensional crypt, a hand with claws and a batarang breaks through time-space. A voice. The mimic is sealed, but the source is free. A new hybrid figure steps forward, Creeper fused with a future version of Batman. Title flashes, Creeping Gods full. Shadowfather awakens to be continued. Title, Creeping Gods, Our Shadowfather Awakens. Chapter. Mimic's Curse, Rise of the Shadow Horde genre, supernatural action horror, psychological crossover thriller. Runtime, 2 hours 20 minutes opening scene, The Void, Fractures Again, Darkness. Stillness. Echoes of the last battle shimmer like glass. Sub-Zero and Wolverine stand in a frozen wasteland where the sealed void sphere once hovered. Cracks of red lightning flicker in the distance. The air is charged, as if something ancient is trying to break free again. Then a pulse, a low, violent hum. The ice beneath their feet melts into black liquid. Suddenly, a rupture tears open, and from it, a corrupted figure bursts forth. The evil Tim Drake, no longer fully human. Fused with broken god fragments and ancestral mind control energy, he levitates above the battlefield. A magic shield glows around him, warping space. Any attack Sub-Zero and Wolverine attempt phase through him like illusions. You thought sealing me stopped the infection? You didn't break the cycle, you fed it. Scene 2, Ultra Mimic Mutation. Tim's body glitches, bending and snapping in unnatural ways. He screams and his skin flashes between past versions of himself, Robin, Red Robin, the Heretic, then monstrous forms. He now possesses Ultra Mimic abilities, absorbing powers and forms instantly but now unstable, reshaping his identity with each second. Magic Shield nullifies direct attacks enchanted with chaos runes, ancestral mind control, projects false thoughts into Sub-Zero and Wolverine, blocking their instincts and coordination. Suddenly, "Hey, bub," the whisper again. But it's everywhere. Wolverine hears it behind him, beside him, inside his mind. His own hallucinated self walks out, claws drawn. The battlefield splits into fragmented realities. Wolverine begins fighting his hallucinated doppelganger, unable to tell what's real. Sub-Zero is trapped in a mental maze of frozen ancestors, each whispering lies, turning his focus into fog. Then, from the sky, multiple Tim Drakes appear, summoned like clones, each with slight variations, one armored in holy robes, one in stealth tech, one in beast form. Tim. This time, the bloodline isn't mine alone. I birthed a new species of fear. Scene 4. Turning the tide. Just when Sub-Zero and Wolverine begin to falter, Damian Wayne reappears, wearing a cracked version of the Golden Dark Magic Aura armor, reforged with Void Crystal enhancements. He breaks through the mental fog using a Soul Sigil dagger, freeing Sub-Zero from mind control. Damian. I see your trick now, Tim. You don't want power. You want to erase identity. He strikes at the magic shield. It shudders. Tim flinches. Final battle, shattering the Mimic Curse. Together they form a triangle assault. Sub-Zero channels deep cryo runes to freeze time in bursts, exposing real targets. Wolverine tears through hallucinations with a berserker rage, targeting Tim's unstable forms. Damian activates the Lazarus soul-binding flame, burning the Mimic Curse. One by one, the fake Tim clones fall. The werewolves are purified and vanish. Finally, they corner Tim, who shifts wildly through powers. Teleportation, energy blades, beast form, Wolverine's claws, Damian's sword style. Wolverine steps forward. You stole everyone else's fight, bub, but forgot who you were. With a final triple strike, Frost Chain from Sub-Zero, Golden Blade from Damian, and Adamantium Claw through the Mimic core, Tim Drake collapses. Ending scene, silence and truth. Tim lies on the ground, muttering, I don't know who I am anymore. Damian kneels beside him. Then maybe it's time to stop pretending to be everyone else. Post-credit scene 1. In the ashes, a black sun rises. The true creeper god, long dormant, begins forming a body, using pieces of every soul Tim mimicked. One mimic ends, another awakens. Title: Creeping Gods, V, Legacy of the Mimicverse. Chapter: The Crimson Eclipse, Rise of the Cloaked Plague genre, Apocalyptic Superhero Horror, Mythic Martial Saga. Runtime, 2:28 opening scene. Quiet before the collapse Sub-Zero. Wolverine, Damian, and Tim Drake stand among the ruins of the shattered battlefield. The Mimic Curse is broken. The Blood War is paused. Tim, visibly shaken and stripped of his mimic powers, sits in silence. Damian, still encased in cracked golden armor, holds his sword downward, no longer a weapon, but a warning. Sub-Zero places a hand on Tim's shoulder. Peace doesn't erase the past, but it chooses what becomes of it. Wolverine, bleeding, kneels beside him. You fought your own demons. Now you help stop the ones coming. Suddenly, the ground quakes. They all look up. The sky ignites red. A black moon cracks open like an egg, spewing burning clouds and shrieking wind. Scene 2, the pull of the sky. From the moon's cracked surface, creeper sigils spiral downward like black lightning. Dark tendrils of reality lash out and grab Damian and Tim, dragging them upward against their will. No! Damian growls, stabbing his blade into the ground, but it begins to melt. It's not over. The creeper never needed a host, he needed heirs. Sub-Zero and Wolverine try to hold them down, but the sky consumes Tim and Damian's bodies. A vortex erupts where they vanished. From it, thousands of creeper minions emerge. They crawl, fly, slither, mutant horrors, fusions of demonic energy, and corrupted fragments of the mimic power. Scene 3, Rise of the Cloaked Plague. Worse still, the land begins to split open, and from the cracks rise armored figures, cloaked in shadows and frost. They move like Sub-Zero, they fight like him. They are him, twisted from timelines and alternate realities. A plague army of cloaked Sub-Zeros, created from ancestral DNA corrupted by the Creeper God's essence. Each one has a different elemental signature. Flame Frost, Acid Ice, Lightning Sleet, Shadow Snow. Sub-Zero's eyes widen. He mirrored my bloodline and built an army out of it. Scene 4, Wolverine falls. Wolverine charges into the horde, claws drawn, fury unleashed. But the plague Sub-Zeros counter every move. One freezes his legs. Another stabs him with ice laced in time warp poison. Wolverine is overwhelmed. He falls to one knee, blood soaking the ground. Not like this. Sub-Zero reaches for him, but is cut off by a massive frostquake splitting the battlefield in half. Scene 5, The fall of Earth begins. Tim and Damien reappear, now fused with celestial energy prisons, suspended in the sky like crucified warriors. Their bodies fuel a ritual. The Creeper God is emerging fully, not as a spirit or mimic, but as a physical entity fused from all previous hosts. The black moon opens its eye. The red sky turns to fire. Ending scene. The last defense Sub-Zero, battered and alone, watches as Creeper minions swarm cities. He drags Wolverine to safety beneath an ancient glacier shrine. "I'll hold the frost," he whispers. "You heal, we need you." A final image. Earth burning cloaked Sub-Zeros marching the Creeper. God's silhouette forming in the sky. The plague has begun. The final frost approaches. Post-credit scene. A broken Batarang lands in molten snow. A voice crackles over a distorted comm. Wayne Protocol. Lazarus Protocol Omega, all bat souls. Prepare for extraction. A silhouette in a futuristic bat suit watches from a crater in the moon. Terry McGinnis armed with hybrid tech and Necro Frost Batarangs. Next film tease Creeping Gods 6, The Lazarus Protocol, The Last Bat Stands.
Title: Creeping Gods 6, The Lazarus Protocol. Chapter: The Crater Betrayal, Twilight of the Bat Genre, Superhero Cosmic Horror, Psychological War, Saga, Runtime, 236 Me's Opening Scene, The Crater and the Whisper. In the dead silence above Earth, within the burning lunar crater, Bruce Wayne, bruised, armor torn, watches the skies tremble. Suddenly, the Creeper God steps forward, but this time not as a monster. He's now in his normal form, human in shape, clothed in dark gray robes resembling the Batsuit, but eyes red and hollow, smile etched wide and unnatural. He walks silently across the crater toward Bruce, then leans in, whispering something only Bruce can hear. "You've worn the mask so long, even your soul forgot its name." Bruce tenses. The Creeper's body ripples, and suddenly he mimics Batman perfectly. Voice, posture, even his trauma-infused stare. "Now, I am the one in the shadows." A black vortex erupts from beneath them. Chains of void energy lash around Bruce Wayne. He struggles, but it's too late. "You are the first and the final echo, Bruce." You are sealed. With a thunderous roar, Batman is pulled into the vortex, vanishing into an eternal seal, a reality cage beyond space and time. Scene 2, Wolverine's Rage. Back on Earth's battlefield, Wolverine senses it. He drops to his knees as the ground shakes violently beneath him. No! He claws into the dirt, slicing through plague Sub-Zeros in a berserker frenzy. Rage consumes him. Flames and frost explode outward, but the Creeper plague overwhelms all sides. The sky rains red ash, and the moon pulses with dark mimic energy. The world begins to collapse into fragmented reality pockets. Scene 3, Salvation from the Stars, just when all seems lost. A blinding beam of light cuts through the smoke, and a massive Justice League space shuttle descends from orbit. Aboard, Superman, blood-stained, solar-charged, with Kryptonian relics. Wonder Woman, armor glowing with Amazonian flame runes. The Flash, scarred with Chronovoid boots. Martian Manhunter, now part Phantom from his time in the Shadow Zone. The shuttle extends magnetic force shields, protecting Wolverine and Sub-Zero. Superman, we're late, but not too late. They pull the survivors into the ship just as the plague swarm detonates in a frostquake, swallowing the battlefield. Scene 4, The Cost of the Seal. Aboard the shuttle, the League stabilizes Wolverine's wounds. But his eyes are locked on space, on the black vortex now visible from Earth's orbit, glowing with chains and sigils. Batman is gone, trapped in an eternal illusion inside the Creeper's mimic realm. Wonder Woman, we can't break that seal with force alone. Flash, not unless we rewrite time itself. Ending scene. The protocol activates inside the League's databanks. An ancient backup activates the Lazarus Protocol, a contingency plan Bruce created in secret, encrypted only for worst-case scenarios involving identity corruption and soul entrapment. Its trigger phrase? If I ever forget who I am, remind me what it meant to be. A final voice recording of Bruce plays quietly. The mask is not what hides me. It's what saved the world from what I could have become. Superman stares at the vortex. Then we bring him back.
Post-credit scene 1, deep inside the Vortex prison, Bruce opens his eyes. Surrounded by infinite versions of himself, laughing, broken, crying, fighting. All mimicked, all distorted. In the center stands the Creeper-Batman hybrid, smiling. Let's see what happens when the bat becomes the joke. Post-credit scene 2, elsewhere. In a future timeline, Terry McGinnis activates an old beacon. Behind him stands a small crew, a resurrected Damian Wayne, a purified Tim Drake, John Kent. They stare at the stars. Time to go into the vortex. Next film tease Creeping Gods 7. The Mask of Eternity, a rescue through the mind of the Bat God.